Hi there, Agile friends. I'll come in here just with a quick note to let you know that the Agile Online Summit 2022 is coming soon. To know more, check out bit.ly/AOS2022. That's all one word, all lowercase, bit.ly/AOS2022. Now, stick around to the end of the episode if you want to know more, but for now, on to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Change Leadership episode this week with Nousheen Manzoor. Hey, Nousheen, welcome back.
Hey, Vasco. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. So today's Wednesday, and Wednesday is Change Leadership Day here on the podcast. And of course, as Scrum Masters, we're constantly involved in change processes. They might be personal or team level or even organizational level. And we're there. We're change agents, and as I'd like to call ourselves change leaders as well. So that's the story we want to hear from you today. Share with us the story of a change process you were involved with and walk us through the steps, like what was happening at each point of that change process. And as you go, highlight for us the tools, the tips, the tricks, the techniques you learned back then that you still apply today.
Yeah, I think I have a couple in mind, but I will start with the story, which was quite interesting for me because I was working directly with the client that time, supporting the team on the client. We were sitting on the client side. So it was a very simple thing. We were asking the client, they were working on Excels for bugs and everything when we were doing the user acceptance testing. And the suggestion was they did have a JIRA, but they were not using it. So the suggestion was based on the team feedback and how it was so difficult to manage Excels because it was like too heavy at points, they would crash and whatnot. So we decided to suggest to the client to shift from Excel to JIRA. In theory, everything all right. When they were very reluctant, I would say. It was a very traditional organization, people who were not so used to, I would say, using tools and everything. They were more familiar with manual stuff like notebooks and Excels and so on. So for them, the first thing that came was a huge resistance that it's not possible, it's too technical, they can't do it, it's easier, why can't we use Excels only, and so on. And somehow, so what we did wrong, I would say, as a leadership was forcing them that this is what we should use, but we really did not take the time or effort to make them understand how it would also make their life easier. So what happened in the process, I will explain, this was something that I then later on learned from this whole experience. So when we forced them to use Excel, so the first user acceptance testing session, I remember still I was sitting having my coffee in the cafeteria, and I saw all the leadership, someone is pinging me, the leadership is running around like something like hell broke loose, or it was like that kind of a scenario, and everyone is running around like what happened. And client was unhappy, in this session we had 100 bugs in the user acceptance and everyone is going crazy. It's not acceptable because we did the QA and everything was fine. What happened? And to cut the long story short, in the end, what it came out was everyone kept running around. No one sat calmly and spoke to the business lead to see what those 100 issues were. So I just went there and tried with my QA. I think this was also because of my experience as a QA. I just went there and spoke to the business lead. Hey, I just wanted to understand from the team perspective, what do you think is what is the issue? Did you try to figure out, is it related to a particular feature that we delivered, or is it different features and everything is broken? And he just showed me again, he had put the issues first in the Excel, and they were copying to JIRA. So what they did was they had for example, there were 10 people testing the same let's say login feature, but they were using 10 sets of data. So if there is an issue in the login feature, we should ideally have one bug, but they were raising for each data set each person checked, which means 10 data set per person, they raised like 10 bugs, which made it into 100. And I realized that it was such a small thing, which we could have kind of explained or tried to understand. But we were all running around like there are 100 bugs. Everyone was trying to focus on those 100 bugs, but none of us really tried to sit down and sit with them and understand, is it because we just made them use a tool they were not used to and they don't know how to put in probably data fields or link issues together or something like that? That knowledge was missing, which was causing this 100. So we did not kind of go to the root cause of what was causing it, but we were all looking just at the issue. So this was something then I kind of, as a Scrum Master of the team, I also took up with the team, like how we can streamline the process when we are sending something to the business team for UAT until they get used to this tool. Can we give them some hands-on tips to use, or can we just have some trainings for them from their organization to enable them to use this tool? Because it was a big change for them. For us, it was a smaller thing, just using JIRA. But for them, it was quite a huge change, a mindset change that they had to literally move from using something manually to something automated.
Exactly. And this, you mentioned UAT or user acceptance testing. The people who were doing the user acceptance testing, they didn't know how to project their experience with Excel into a different tool, right? So a lot of the bugs that were coming up was just them not understanding what it meant to use a different tool. And this raises to me the topic you talked about at the start. You didn't take the time to explain the benefits. But this also raises to me the aspect of pushing change versus co-creating change.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, all right, we're going to use JIRA, and that can be a decision. That's fine, right? There are top-down decisions in every business. But let's define how together, right? Let's get together some people who would do UAT or user acceptance testing later on, and let's go through an example. Okay, this is how it could look like in JIRA. What do you think? And collect feedback as well, right?
Yes, this is one of the 12 principles of the whole Agile manifesto, where we talk about collaboration between business stakeholders and developers throughout, or the technical team, I would say. We need to be aligned when both teams need to be aligned when we make decisions. And this was a big learning. You see it live, like that principle coming to life when we didn't follow it, because all we did was just project what we thought in our mind.
We know the solution, right?
Yes.
Of course, it's going to be so simple. Everybody's going to love it. And then the users pick it up and go like, we don't understand this at all.
Yes. And this was something then we as a leadership team took as a learning. We worked henceforth with anything. It could be, this was a small example of JIRA, but then in future also when we had situations where we were bringing in change on our relationship level with clients and vendors or something, we would start from the point where we would first check with them, again, empathize. What is it that is in for them? What does this change mean for them before we actually start implementing it, and try to make it easier for them to understand and focus on like values. At the same time, highlighting maybe there might be some pain points. There are always some pain points with the change, but it's our role to make them understand this. And this was quite a big learning, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Great learning as well to keep in mind for us as Scrum Masters as we go through any change. And I would like here to talk about the Lean Change Management Framework, which you can, I'll put the link on the show notes for people who want to read the book and know more about it. But there's one aspect that Jason Little, the author, refers to, which is this aspect of co-creating change, right? And co-creating starts from the perspective of not only the people who are pushing change, and sometimes there is a need to push change, but the people who are going to be part of it, like the actors of that change, need to be part of creating the end state, right? What we are striving towards.
Yes. I think it's very important they are involved from the beginning, because again, as I said, then it makes it more easy to be accountable because they have been a part of that change.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that story, Nousheen.
No worries, Vasco.
Hi there, Agile friends. Thank you for sticking around to know more about this year's Agile Online Summit. The summit will have 4 keynotes and 4 tracks you will not want to miss. The keynotes will touch on critical topics for us, from delivering on time to helping you to focus on sustainability. The 4 tracks are tools, so we'll focus on tools you need to excel at your job, but also your mission. We'll also have a track on sustainability, which is, of course, about people and their sustainable pace, but it's also about how do we bring sustainability to the products and the planet we inhabit. We'll have a 3rd track about happiness, talking about doing what we love and, most crucially, loving what we do. And finally, the 4th track will be live. It will be mostly hands-on sessions to help you roll up your sleeves together with the presenters. Oh, and we will also have a coaching clinic, as we usually do, organized to help you discuss and get inspired to solve the hardest challenges you face at work. This year, we'll have a special emphasis on interaction with your peers, so get your ticket and join the Slack at bit.ly/AOS 2022. As always, we have free tickets for anyone that wants to attend live, and the VIP tickets for those of you who want to keep the videos forever. So check them out at bit.ly/AOS 2022. I'll see you on the conference floor. Leading change is one of the core skills we must acquire, but it is only one of the steps towards our success as Scrum Masters. Tomorrow, on Success Thursday, we will talk about how to define success for the Scrum Master role, we'll cover tips on how to measure your way to that position, and most importantly, how to develop that focus on continuous improvement that is as important for Scrum Masters as it is for teams. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.